Hey, welcome back binder and UA fans. We're back here at the R&D shop and we're getting you all caught up today on what I have done to this thing since our last episode. When I last left you guys, I was fumbling with this leaf spring, came back after having lunch that day and got it on there. I ended up putting the bushings on in the back, the Delrin bushings that I've now started using specifically for heavy duty use. Got the suspension in both front and back, made custom U-bolt plates front and back, and basically was copying the setup off of Hideous. I have not yet put the shackles on the front. That's usually one of the last things we do, is put the hole in the frame. For that is I want to weigh down the suspension as much as possible, jounce the suspension as much as possible. Gives me the most accurate location, which I'm actually going to be probably putting this one very much near the bottom of the frame, almost sticking out of the bottom of the frame on this. Again, trying to gain as much height out of the suspension as I can over Hideous was. Fabricated engine brackets, fabricated a transmission cross member, all pretty much similar to Hideous. Transfer the engine over from the old chassis to the new chassis here. Same NV4500 transmission as before. Installed the Atlas transfer case, same gearing as Hideous, 4.3 on the low range. And again, driver drop to match the front Ultimate Dana 60. I've got a hydraulic clutch setup fabricated. This is a slave cylinder off our like 61 to 68C series pickups and travel-alls. Same one I've got on Hideous, 1-inch bore. And yeah, just fabricated this quick bracket and did that. Got a PSC steering box bolted onto it. Started bolting some accessories back onto the engine. Got the air compressor back on and the AC compressor back on. I've got the Sniper 2 4-barrel fuel injection system, just the throttle body bolted on with a spacer. The air intake system, spent a lot of time on that, getting that dialed in. One of the other odd things you're going to actually notice on my build here is the body lift pucks. They're not all the same height. In the two mid body mounts are only 1 inch thick. This is from Custom Scouts. We get our 1-inch body lift kits from. And the front and back is our typical 2-inch body pucks. I have sanded them down and adjusted them a little bit. They're closer to like 1.75-ish, and the back was like closer to 1.5-ish, and never seen such a huge discrepancy moving one body from one chassis to another. But here we are. So yeah, a little bit different height front and back, but I'll take the extra height, honestly, in the front and back. Every little bit of lift I can get out of this thing, I'll need it to stuff them 40s in. And then speaking of tires, I did actually at a point, with the body down on it, of course, I disassembled one of the front Alcan springs completely, all the way to just the main leaf, and put it back on. And then I stole a 40-inch Milestar Patagonia from Hideous and rolled it underneath there and stuffed it. Turned it. I already knew I had one body adjustment to make up front on the firewall area, but aside from that, it fit. So then I was like, oh, well, let's see how the rear does. I purposely did not weld on my hangers on the rear suspension because I figured I might need to move them around a little bit to center the rear tire in. But did the same treatment, took the Alcan leaf spring pack apart, put just the main back in it, and flexed it out, and I'll be son of a gun, man, that thing fit perfect in there. So a couple text messages over to our friends over at Milestar, Andrew there. Got a set of 40-inch Patagonia XTs though coming for this project. MTs is what I normally been running on Hideous. XT is actually what I run on my Super Duty. A little bit different tread tire, but I want to try it, and on the off-road side of it. Okay, let's get this chassis rolled underneath the body, and we'll go over some of the body stuff that I've worked on in the last month. Alright, voila, the body is down on the frame. Then you can notice behind me, yes, I put a snorkel on it, just like on Hideous, man. I just feel like that's something that probably go on almost all my builds in the future. Just love having that little feature on there. And if you see one on an i8, you probably know it's me cruising up, right? So anyway, it's got a nice little air filter snorkel hat there. I bought off Temu for like 25 bucks or something, and fabricated up the whole downspout, got in underneath the fender, a couple of 90s, and boom, cut a hole in right where the heater box used to be. I turned that into a square hole and got a K&N air cleaner, enclosed air cleaner setup on the firewall. It's the exact same setup I've got on Hideous. So again, something that's just been proven to me. I know it works very well. And then After, like I said, mentioned earlier, I had swapped out that carb hat a couple of times trying to find something that would accommodate and reach up to that air cleaner assembly. Spent a lot of time staring at it, wondering what I was going to do. After ordering a few, like I said, finally found a combination that works with a little short custom piece of tubing, and bam, custom air intake, getting fresh cold air and filtered really well. With that, let's move on to the inside and I'll show you what we ended up doing on the shifters. All right, so one of the first things I did was modify the shifters on the Atlas transfer case. Had it all bent up, thought I did a good job clearing the transmission tunnel. Went and had lunch one day, came back out, set the body down, and I was still a mile away. So I ended up fabricating this little enclosure here to go around it. Basically took the old inner fender from White Scout, had the fuel enclosure door, like the access door to the filler neck, cut that out, shrank it down, and boom. Got a nice little recess in here. Looks pretty good, pretty happy with it. Also modified the body down here to clear the Atlas transfer case. And as you can see on each end, I had to make room for the tires. So there's a big old cutout on each corner, and I'll still have to weld those up on the inside and make a patch panel to cover the old kick panel vent that was there. Also notice I got a few more things hung underneath. Got a brand new I Did It steering column. This thing will be getting a custom dash. It'll be going onto the cage. These bars actually that hold the dash won't be here. Once I build the cage, I'll have a custom dash mounted off of it. The ignition switch is no longer on the column. It's actually going to go on the dash. Kind of like simplicity, just trying to make this thing as simple as possible in certain aspects. One of the other things I did also install and mock up, this is a mock-up box. This is a Vintage Air Gen 5 Super Magnum. So it's like their biggest under dash AC and heater combo unit that they have available, with the biggest blower motor on it. So hopefully with all the lizard skin this thing's gonna get and the heat shield products that this thing's gonna get, it should hopefully stay very comfortable in here. So got pedals underneath as well, and also modified this for the hydraulic clutch that goes with the slave cylinder you saw on the back of the engine going to the bell housing there. All right, again, here's the K&N final carb hat I ended up buying. Fit beautifully. It was a little bit shorter than the Spectre ones I had previously bought. This was number 3. Got that under there. The Sniper 2 should be well filtered with what we've got here. And then this is like a spacer that goes from the square bore pattern of the Sniper 2 to the spread bore pattern of the RPT intake. It's like the shortest one I could find that fit in here. Some of the other things I've got that I'm going to be kind of getting ready to install. Got this old power steering cooler. Zaid had this on the Monstera. It ended up taking off, was on the shelf, so I stole it from him. And this will hopefully go underneath the Scout if there's enough room for it. I do hope to tuck this under the body somewhere. As part of the Sniper, got fuel pressure regulator, gonna have to find a home for. Part of the Sniper 2, got the Hyperspark 2 here set up, gonna be putting on, along with one of their coils. This is my air compressor setup. This is like the pressure valve, and I've got the ARB solenoids, and this will be for like the gauge. I always run an air pressure gauge on the dash to know what's going on there. I gotta find a home for that. Gotta find a home for the air tank yet. And also, like Hideous, I've ordered up this Canton, I should say, oil filter relocation kit. One of the things that happened to Hideous on its first trip is the oil filter got whacked by the axle. I don't want that to happen again, so I've got this awesome kit that this bolts on right where the oil filter would go. This gets relocated somewhere underneath there. I don't know where I'm putting it yet, but got stainless hose. So all these parts are gonna have to be mocked up here pretty soon and find out where I'm gonna stuff them. Here's the EJ Classics new tailgate. Was pretty cool, like I said, after all these years, be able to just unbox apart and bolt it on basically. Man, if I had to like fix my old tailgate, which had a big dent in it right here, I'd have, sandblast it, have the body guys fix it. I'd probably have 1,500 bucks into it at least. This one's half that, so brand new, so can't complain. Opens beautifully. A little bit wide on my gaps, but again, for everything that this thing's been through, I guess I'd rather be a little wide than a little tight. I still might be able to draw this in just a little bit. I still have yet to fixture these on there, and I'll know more. I got to get a hard top on this thing here soon. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is our CPT prototype fuel tank that we have here. We've been having these, we've been subbing them out, and honestly having our friend Phil Harmon of Harmon Customs build them for us. And this is a new 30-gallon prototype. Normally our tanks are 25 gallons, but this one I told him, I go, dude, I'm gonna be wheeling this thing going on UA, need a little bit more fuel range. I've been getting by on with what I have with Hideous with about 25-gallon tank, but it's always like cutting it close on fuel a lot of times. So extra 5 gallons would be nice, because honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to carry 5 gallons. I do not plan on a spare tire rack back here or anything like that at this time. I may change my mind on that, but there's no way I'm going to be bolting a 40-inch spare back here. That tire is going to actually end up going on the inside. It's after watching Corey wheel his last couple years with his Scout, I've seen where his spare tire hanging off the back has become a disadvantage when you're climbing up and you have to back down. That spare tire totally preventing you from being able to back up. I think I got you all caught up on basically everything I've been doing to this thing since like the end of January. And I think I'm going to roll this thing back up on the lift here, roll it up, and I think I'm going to start tackling the exhaust. So let's get to work. Definitely nice to be able to like do this, put your body up, roll your chassis out, get to work on it without having to be on your back. And yeah, I'm getting kind of old for that stuff, but I still got to do it sometimes. So just like Hideous, I'm doing what I call my signature double X exhaust. It's only the second one I've ever done, but it sure has a great tone to it. So first up, the exhaust system is going to cross over under the bell housing on the driver's side to the passenger side. And I'm going to have both pipes running down the passenger side into this first X. And then once it goes to this X, not further down will be this Dynamax muffler, which also has a built-in X to it. So you got X and X. I don't know, flows really good, sounds really good. You know, no sense in changing up what's been working great. All right, so one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start right here on this corner. This is the same side as the drive shaft, and on Hideous, it was always having an issue with the drive shaft and the exhaust wanting to use the same amount of real estate, hitting into one another. I did recently redo this portion of the exhaust on Hideous to try to better avoid that. It was still contacting, so I'm hoping with some of these crazy bends I got a 90, I've got, I don't know what degree that was, 120 or something, like a 45, hoping to kind of go up and over and down and around and avoid that drive shaft. So I'm going to start fitting and whacking and chopping and welding, and we'll get over there, and then it should be smooth sailing for a little bit. So this will be the hard, time consuming part. Got the front half of the exhaust in, got a little twirly doop up there to hopefully clear the front drive shaft under compression. But came around, got my couple flex joints in there, hooked up to the headers. Just need to bend up some brackets to hang the muffler and put a couple little short chinkuses in here. They're gonna have to kind of like bend over a little bit to match up to this to get to the crossover X here. But anyways, that's it for this episode. Appreciate y'all watching. Check back in on the next one. Hopefully by then we'll have a little bit more of the exhaust wrapped up, maybe some roll cage put in. I don't know, there's so much to do, just kind of been going round and round till it all gets done. So until then, don't forget to like and subscribe, and catch you next time.